will, if anything bad or embarrassing happens, we'll edit it out. But you know.
Okay, sure.
And so that's the first good sign, because people say, well, I'm afraid of sharing my idea with the world because they will steal it. That's a destined for failure, right? Nobody steals an idea unless it's been validated. You know, entrepreneurs want to do their own ideas, so nobody's is going to take it. So, and plus, this way you get a chance to expose it, and maybe some people like it and join forces. So there's a very small risk, minuscule. It has never happened to any one of my students or clients that they steal the idea, but there is a very big benefit that by sharing the idea. So, all right, so we're recording. Presumably you know about me, so let's hear something about you.
Yeah, I know about you. So a few words about myself. My name is Bogdan. I'm 27 years old and I'm from Romania. Right now I'm working full-time as a developer, but in the past I was a basketball player for almost 12 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
I changed careers. It was a passion of mine to build software and to write code. It's actually something that I really enjoy even today after 7 years of experience. So yeah. And yeah, I'm passionate about building a business, a startup. I've had my experiences in the past. I tried 4, 5, 6 ideas. Some of them had a small success, but most of them failed. So it's something that I had always an interest in. But now if I look back, I've never had like a structure and something to, I've never had a mentor, a structure, or a clear path on how to build a product or a software product or whatever it was. So I was pretty much lost every time. I just went with the feeling, but that didn't went so well. So yeah, this is why I'm happy that I have this call with you, because I would love to have like a structure and some concepts that can guide me in order to build something successfly, hopefully one day.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so you know, good. So I don't need to explain the law of failure to you. You lived it yourself, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with it.
Yeah, so people who have never been entrepreneurs assume that it will work, or maybe if they've been successful once, they think they'll be successful again. That's where I was. And also, I want to be clear. I'm not here to help you build it. I'm just here to help you make sure that you build the right it, right? Because I don't know the details of your other projects and startups and failures, but very rarely people fail because they cannot build it, right? If it's nuclear fission, maybe there's a challenge, right? Those are big engineering problems, but for what you described, I think that's not an issue. So I'm happy to help you not do the mistakes that everybody makes and that I made. And I'm glad you like my system, because even though it's hard, because your current idea, you may do all these tests and you find out it doesn't work. That's much better than spending 2 years building it and then finding out that it doesn't work. So
yeah, definitely.
So with that, tell us, you know, very, very briefly about your idea. And the best thing would be if you have a metaphor. I've seen your video where you describe it, right? It's for investors. But one of the key things that you will have to do, and we'll work on the XYZ hypothesis. Okay, good. Yeah. Are you sharing? Oh no, something else came up on my Zoom screen.
Okay.
Do you it's a great way if you can express your idea like in one sentence or with an analogy. Like, for example, you can say Airbnb for pets, right? People understand what it does. Or you know, a Tesla for motorcycles, something like that. Or else something shorter so that people can get an idea of what it is. And as we go through this, once we do the XYZ hypothesis, it will come out. But always important to have, not just for me, for everybody, to have this brief description of what your idea is.
Yeah, so in a few words, it will be something like this: a journal for long-term investors, stock market investors.
Okay, so
that makes any sense.
Okay, so so I am a long-term market investor. Yeah, there was a hobby of mine. Now I just buy mutual funds and and the S&P 500 and sit on it because it knows the market knows better than I do. So
every time.
The long-term investor. I like the fact that you specify long-term investor. So you're not Robinhood, right?
Nope.
That's right. So I'm a long-term investor. I already have accounts. So let's have an account with I don't know, Fidelity, right? Or Charles Schwab. And I already have my investment. Am I a typical customer, or will you do the transactions for me, or will you just collect information about my trades?
So I think that one important aspect that I forgot to mention is it's for beginners in the first phase.
Okay.
So if you're not a beginner, then in the first phase, you will not be my customer, actually.
Okay.
So it's an investor for long-term, it's a journal for long-term beginner investors. That would be in a few words.
Okay. So, and typically beginner, and I'm sure there are some, I know, 50-year-old beginners, but you're thinking more about young people. Yeah, because it's kind of web-based, they need to be familiar with how to do
young people or somebody who has between 1 and maximum 3 years in the stock market.
Okay.
So that would be my ideal customer so far.
Okay. So let's pretend, I go back, a few decades in the past, and, I just got a job, I got a bonus, and I want to invest it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that I'm lost, right? Because I know that my options, I would know, my friends probably told me about Robinhood, which I don't think right now it's as popular as it was. Or, my parents told me get an account with Fidelity or Vanguard. And I would go there, and I would say, and then the advice, listen to my parents say, or my friends, that my friends will tell me, buy these hot stocks, buy Roblox, or buy, what is it, GameStop. And my parents will say, just buy the S&P 500. So let's say that I say, well, I don't know if my parents or my friends are right, so I'm going to buy some GameStop, right?
Okay.
And I'm going to buy some S&P 500.
Okay.
Would I go through you to buy them or to make that decision?
No, I don't care what you buy, to be honest.
Okay.
What you buy, it's your business, and how you buy it. Where I intervene is after you buy something, you can come into my platform and organize your investments so you can keep track of them easily as time goes by.
Okay.
So after you buy, assuming that you're a smart investor and you did your homework and you have good resources from which you get inspired. So you buy Tesla for $1,000 and you want to build a portfolio starting with that stock. So you come into my platform, and then you have different functionalities that will allow you to see your investments, visualize them with different data visualization techniques like pie charts or different stats. So after you buy something, you land on my platform. That's
okay. So I will have to have two different accounts now. So let me ask you. I'm going to be hard on you, because only by
perfect. Yeah.
You're a serious basketball player, so your coach is not going to be nice on you, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to lose all the game. So
yeah.
I'm going to be tough on you. So I have accounts, in this, the likes similar to, Fidelity, Vanguard, and everything. And I must say, if I go there, they give me a very clear picture. They give me the pie chart. They show me how my investments are doing, how they're doing compared to the S&P 500. They show me the growth. They have all the information. They have my acquisition cost. So why I get a very, very complete picture. What would be the advantage for me to go and open an account on your platform where I have to replicate the information? And also, kind of expose myself, right? So you kind of, you're not a big organization yet, and then I'm gonna let this guy know that I've, $20,000 in Tesla stock,
Yeah.
what would drive me to make that big jump, because it is a big jump?
Yeah, so at least here in Europe, most brokers, they don't offer you pretty much every detail of your investments. So you don't have necessarily all the data that you want regarding your investments, like the pie charts or how much you invested in X or how much you invested in Y. So there are usually some basics informations, but most of the investors which I've interacted with, and I'm a part of a group of private investors, so to speak, and usually most of them have issues with visualizing their data on the broker website. They do some extra work in Excels or in Google Sheets. They organize their data there. Someone even asked me if I can share with him my own Google Sheet in which I track some of my investments, and it really helped him. So then it came into my mind, hey, why not build something that's you have everything in one place.
Okay.
You can add your own personal touch. You can add your notes there if you want. You can, maybe there will be some gamification elements that will keep you engaged and happy about your progress if you're a long-term investment, so you don't get discouraged on the short term. You can share on social media what you want from your investments. You can even promote financial education. So it's more like a journal that will have a personal touch. That would be something that it's more different from a general broker that gives you informations.
Okay, no, that's good. You know, it's a very plausible idea. I do like it. Yeah, and you go the brokers' website are also very stuffy and formal, right?
Yeah,
with
yeah,
a lot
exactly.
of terms that you really do not understand.
Exactly.
and okay, so I see and of course there isn't a community in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I go to one of my broker account, it's just me, you know, and I just interact, you know. Yeah. So this would combine those things. Now, just a technical thing, then we'll go into the XYZ hypothesis, which is really, that's where the real meeting starts, right? That's where I give the value. So let's say I'm this new investor and I bought, say, 10 shares of Tesla and, you know, $10,000 in the S&P 500. So when I go on your website, I just put my holdings and you will automatically take care of all the updating and the values, correct?
In an ideal world, yes.
Yeah, because otherwise, you know, I have to go and say, yeah, in an ideal world, yes, you would do that.
Yeah, I would do
because
that.
otherwise, you know, how are you gonna do the pie charts? You know, I want to see the updates. Yeah. Okay, so I have a pretty good idea. I'm a beginner investor. I know that I can buy stuff at a broker, but at least in Europe, there aren't the websites, I guess, for some reason, they're not as nice as there in the US, where you can kind of slice and dice all the data in any ways.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. All right, so let's jump into the XYZ hypothesis, and I'm gonna share the screen with you because I have some I have a slide where is my startup checkup. Okay, I need to bring it. Over here, sorry. Okay, do you see that slide?
Yeah, I see prototyping, yeah.
Okay, good. So we're gonna go back. Let me resize it. And all right, so you know we cover your background. By the way, is this something you're doing full time?
What exactly?
No, is your start? Do you have a regular day job, and this is something that you're planning to do on the side? How much time are you dedicating to this?
So I have a full-time job as an engineer, and this is like my side project. I'm dedicating around 20 to 30 hours per week or something like that.
Okay, that's quite a bit. But by the way, what programming language do you use?
JavaScript.
JavaScript. Okay.
You
And
can build everything with JavaScript nowadays.
yes. All
You
right, so
know.
we talked about the use case description. So you know the XYZ hypothesis, right? At least X% of Y will do Z. Now, the at least part is very important because people come to me and they just make numbers up. But if this is a financial website, presumably you're good with number. That at least number can be very small, especially at the beginning, because this is the minimum number of people you need to sign up on your website. Your target market we discussed is like beginning investor, and then Z, what you hope will happen. So I'll give you an example from one of my other classes and students. So I'll show you what their problem is and how we walk through the XYZ hypothesis, and so we apply to yours, right? So on in this case, their idea was that every time you buy a new mobile phone, you don't know what to do with your old one, right? The store doesn't give you a lot of money. They give you $50, and then there's a lot of people. So they thought, how about a website called sellaphone.com, right, where people can buy used phone and so forth. So that was their general idea, and their hypothesis, as you can see, makes it very clear. 2% of people who buy a new mobile phone will sell their old phone on sellaphone.com. I mean, it's not great because it doesn't explain how much they're gonna how they're going to make money, et cetera, but it's a very good start. So let's try to write down. You dictate it to me, and I will type it in here. And so let's start with Y, your target market. So you gave me a good
beginner investors.
So beginner investors. Now you also mentioned in Europe, one of the things with investments and and money that there are some things that you can do locally, globally, but some things are very market specific. So at least for your initial XYZ hypothesis, right? Remember, you have no choice but to start small, right?
Yeah.
Google started by indexing the Stanford websites, right? Facebook started with a Harvard student. Amazon started selling books only, and now you can buy everything. Uber started in New York. So you have to be realistic, right? Because you have a full-time job, right? You're new at this. So come up with something very, very small. So would you say beginner investor? Do you want to do it in Europe, in your country, in your town? How would you, and smaller, believe me, smaller is better. So we're beginners investor in, what would you put there?
I'd say my first thought is to say in Romania, but I can go even more in detail and say in my hometown.
Okay. How big is your hometown?
Around 300,000, I guess.
Okay.
Actually, let me Google it because I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I'll give you a number right now. Okay. Yeah, I said it right. 300,000.
Okay.
So yeah, 300,000.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a good number to keep, because then we're going to do the hypo-zooming. Okay. So this is a beginner stock market investor, right? Market. And by the way, if you invest in Romania, can you buy stock like Tesla in the US? How does it work? I'm not too familiar.
Yeah, you can buy it. Yeah, we have brokers that are capable to. I mean, we have brokers from which you can buy stocks all over the world. So yeah, it's possible. Okay.
So beginner market investors in Romania. Now let's do the Z part. What? I mean, so imagine this is 2 years from now. You're just operating in Romania. By the way, what's the name of your website? Do you have a name for your business?
The Investor Journal, I called it.
Okay, Investor.
It's not set in stones, but yeah, it's something that I enjoy.
Yeah, no, that's a good. It's descriptive.
Yeah.
So what do you expect? Will sign up. So what is your business model? Do you plan to charge them a monthly fee, a yearly fee? How will
Yeah,
you?
so I was thinking to charge like a monthly subscription.
Okay.
So I'm expecting to pay around $5 monthly, something small for now.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how I thought to monetize this.
All right. So I mean, this is looking forward, but usually, the best model as you launch it, try to get people in for free, and then you offer additional services, right? But for now, let's say that we'll sign up on Investor. I'll call it IJ, right? Investor Journal, and pay. Well, say for euro 5 per month.
Yeah.
Per month. Okay. Now, so let's think about what is the population of Romania?
Okay.
Approximately, right? Doesn't have to be.
Yeah. Around 19 million in 2021.
Wow, it's bigger than Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good mark. Yeah, that's a great place to start. Yeah, that's a lot of people, right? It's not like Liechtenstein. So out of those 90 million, and I don't know if you've done the work.
19,
but
19, sorry, 19.
Oh, 19. Okay.
19.
Yeah, 19. All right. I thought 90. I was very surprised. I'm not a master of geography, but I thought, boy, Romania's grown a lot since I last looked at it. Okay. So 19 million. Yeah, that's good. That's a million number. So let's do some. Have you done some estimate? How do you think out of this 19 million, how many of those might be beginner investors or potential beginner investors?
Yeah, this is a problem that I've encountered because I don't know how to get this data, to be honest. I've asked around, and even advanced investors, they just don't know. There are some stats, but it's not accurate at all. So it's something that I'm having a hard time to figure out how many investors are even in Romania, not to say Europe or all over the world, especially beginners. This kind of stats, it's very hard to find.
Yes. So when the statistics are hard to find, right? What we do is we make some very educated guesses. It's like those interview questions. How many ping pong balls can you put in a bus, right? And you kind of have to make estimates. Or what is the volume of a cow? And you say, well, imagine the cow is a sphere. So we're gonna do a ballpark estimate, because right now it's all very, very fuzzy. So let's say out of 100 Romanian, I would say, is it safe to assume that maybe 10% of those are potential beginner investor, meaning relatively young people who have a job and they have some income that they want to invest? Is that a reasonable assumption?
So maybe something important to keep in mind when we make these assumptions, even if they're not accurate, in my opinion, I think that if we look at some statistics around Europe, Romania is almost the last country in Europe when it comes to financial education. So the financial education here is super low.
Okay.
And with this in mind, the percentage of beginner investors, it's low. Yeah. So it's going to be, I don't know, 2% maybe, I'd say 3 max from the entire.
So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make it 1%. Okay.
Okay, let's make it 1%.
Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that they're doing it now, but everybody knows that with inflation and things, it's a good idea to invest in the stock market. And plus, you're not asking them to put a lot, right? And you have some gamification. So instead of buying a new pair of sneakers for $300, buy 2 shares of some company. So let's start with a small number. So what we have here is 19 million.
Yeah.
all right? And we take 1% of that. So we remove 2 zeros, right?
Yep.
I like to do let me remove the commas because they're confusing.
Yeah.
So this is a lot of people that, you know, do this, they don't like to do the math, but the math is very important. So you start 19 million in the whole country. You take 1% potential, right?
Potential, yeah.
It comes up to, and let's put the commas here. So it's 190,000.
Yeah.
Right. So would you be able? So and then we do 190,000. I'll show you some of. We're going into more details, right? But since you're doing financial stuff, you should be okay with the numbers, right? Right.
Yeah, I love numbers.
Good, good. Have you seen my math of success videos?
No, I haven't
No.
seen
Okay.
this.
So after that, if you like numbers, look them because
Okay.
it will show you exactly how to do this and how to estimate success. So this one, I also like numbers. I'll do it approximately, right? So you know, 190,000 is close to 200,000, right? So multiplied by 5 gives you about 1 million.
Yep.
1 million euros per month, which means it would be over 12 months is like 12 million euros per year. Sounds about right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you would love that, right?
No.
Okay. So using that, so that's where you hope to get, right? But if I remove 1 0, right, from here, right? So we're going to cut the number by 0. So instead of 190,000, we have 19,000, and this becomes 100. Correct? See, 100,000. And no, did I remove too many zeros?
9,500. Yeah.
Okay, so okay, forget. Yeah, I removed too many zeros. Sorry. Yeah. So we remove 1 0. We have 19,000. So here you have 100,000. So here you have 1.2 millions per year.
Yeah.
All right. So do you think that I don't know what the labor costs are in Romania, how much you're going to do, but do you think that, you know, just to get started now, so we're going to 0.1% of all Romanian, if they sign up and they pay 5 euros, you get with about $1.2 million a year. Do you think this will be enough to get you started as an entrepreneur?
I say yes.
Okay. So guess what? We've come up with our at least, correct? Which is?
It should be more than enough. Yeah.
No. So what's that number? We started with 1%.
Oh, at least 1%.
No, we made it smaller, remember?
Oh, you said 0.1%?
That's right.
Oh, 0. Okay. Yeah.
Right. So now let me. So what you see, and I'm glad we're recording this because a lot of people, I get this crazy XYZ hypothesis, right? 30% of you know, all people who do this will buy my product. That never happens, right? That never happens. Definitely not at the beginning. Everybody starts small, right? Amazon ended up selling, you know, they could have been profitable, but saying 0.1% of all books sold in the year that they started will be sold by Amazon. That was enough because, you know, Bezos was running out of his garage, right? So if you tell me that, look, Alberto, I can build and maintain and pay the, you know, the website costs and everything for $1.2 million to support 19,000 people, then I guess we got our first XYZ hypothesis, right?
Yeah.
Good. So now the beautiful thing is that, remember, this says at least, which means I'm not setting an upper limit. You know, maybe it becomes the biggest thing in Romania. You'll be on the cover of the, you know, Romanian version of the Wall Street Journal. But we start small, right? And so, all right. So are you happy with this as an XYZ hypothesis?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. How different is it from what you originally had in your mind? What would you have told me if I'd asked you?
So because I had this problem of having some statistics, I went with 2%, but yeah, at least 2% of beginner investors in Romania will sign up for. But yeah, I didn't go with a guess estimate for how many investors.
Okay.
So I just said at least 2% of beginner investors in Romania.
Good. So this was useful for you, right? You show.
Oh yeah.
You see how it's a difference. You can build a bridge, right? The ancient Romans built big bridges without knowing any physics, right? But the Newton came along and he came up with the formula F equals ma, and now you wouldn't build a bridge without using Newton's formulas, correct? So if you can do stuff by approximating, but if you can be precise, and by the way, we could still be way off, but I think the orders of magnitude, this is a very plausible thing. And you will also know that if you cannot get that 0.1%, if you get 0.01%, the numbers doesn't work. They don't work, right? So you set a lower limit. Excellent. So this is a good first exercise. So these are other examples. So now that we have the XYZ hypothesis, we need to hypo-zoom, right? So hypo-zooming is where you go from all of Romania to a group that you can actually reach. So and here's the best way to do it is with an example. All right. So when I was teaching this class at Stanford, people had this big global idea, and I said, okay, you zoom in. You've seen the documentaries where the films where you see the planet Earth, and then it zooms in and closer and closer and closer, and then it's like one building. So that's what you need to do, right? So at the Stanford class, actually this is not Stanford, this is one of my Asian customer, but the point is you want to zoom in. If you live in Romania, you want to zoom in Romania, and more importantly, where in Romania, right? By the way, what's the name of your hometown?
Cluj.
Cluj. Okay, so that's you go on Cluj. So remember the other XYZ hypothesis for the mobile phone thing, right? So the student said at least 2% of people who buy a new mobile phone will sell their old phone on sellaphone.com. So I told them, okay, can you get me some data, right, in 24 hours? Where do people go and buy a new mobile phone, right? So if you go in Palo Alto, maybe at the Palo Alto Apple store, right? So they zoomed in and they came up with a zoomed in XYZ hypothesis, right? Instead of the big XYZ, they have the little XYZ. So they came up with at least 5% of people who buy a new iPhone at the Palo Alto Apple store will go on sellaphone.com to see how much they can get for their phone. Now, how would they test it? So they did it in the physical world rather than online, because it's easier, and that's why the number here they have 2%, right? Because 2% they have to know that the website exists. But I'm walking into the Apple store, right, with my old phone, and you have to be careful how you execute this, because I don't think you can hijack customers, right? But assume you see somebody going in and you ask, oh, what are you going in to buy a new phone? And they say yes. Said, what are you going to do with your old phone? Said, well, gee, I don't know. I guess I'll trade it in. And you give them a little card to say, check out the website. We'll tell you how much we'll give you for the phone. So in this case, the test is really not that they actually go and do the transaction on sellaphone.com, is that they take the card and they go to the website. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Right? Because if you expect 2% of people to actually do a transaction, you need more than 2% of the people to go to the website, right? So, and also in your case, if you expect 0.1% of the people to sign up, maybe and pay $5, but then if you make the service for free, maybe you get more people to sign up. Okay, makes sense. So, in your mind, how would you both either in the physical world or in the or online, how would you zoom in? So what is the equivalent of geographically or on a website that you will reach your target customer? Where are you going to find those beginner investors?
Yes, so I think a good part of this whole startup, wannabe startup, is that I'm a part of a group of mostly beginner investors.
Okay,
it's a
perfect.
private group on Facebook, and there are around 1,600 people, so 1.6K. This was like 30 minutes ago. I just verified again the number.
Okay.
And I think that's a good audience to hypo-zoom my XYZ hypothesis. So
And you're absolutely right. So bravo. That's exactly what I would do when a while back, and I had an idea. I'm also an audio engineer, so I built this device, to make music sound nicer. Digital music doesn't sound too nice to my ears, so it sounds more like vinyl. And so I actually built the product, and then I'll share the link to the website. This is maybe 10 years ago. And then where did I go? I was part of an audiophile community, and people were talking about, CDs don't sound nice, streaming MP3 sounds awful. And so I created this device, and this community had, a few thousand members. And so I hypo-zoomed to see how many. This is exactly the market, right? These are the people that I want to talk to. So very well done. All right, so I cut and paste your previous hypothesis. I'm just gonna do the lowercase, so we know that it's the baby XYZ hypothesis. All right. So we're gonna shift from this to the hypo-zoom version. And what is the name of this website or this group?
it's called True Fire. FIRE is an acronym from Financial Independence.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
Okay. So right now there are 1,667 people in that group, mostly beginners.
Okay. So most of our, it's a group. Where is it? It's a Reddit group. Where is it?
Oh, it's a private Facebook group. So only if you buy a certain course here in Romania, you will get access to that group. And it's actually a really nice group with cool people and lots of valuable information. Yeah.
Okay. So you said that this is part of a course?
Yeah. So if you buy their course, there are two instructors there, Romanians. Okay. They have, I don't know, 20 plus years of experience in the stock market, and they are promoting financial education here in Romania. And if you buy one of their courses, they will put you inside that group.
Okay. So, and I'll spell it True Fire. It's like this, right? Something like this.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So already, this is awesome, right? So this is, if you cannot get these people where you are a member and they are clearly interested, if you cannot get 0.1% at least of these people, then it's going to be a challenge, right? In fact, I think because we narrow down to a much more focused group, you need to change this number.
Yeah, because
you understand why that is, right?
Yeah, I think that if the sample size is a little bit smaller, then we increase the percentage, right?
Well, so, no, that's not the reason. That's a very good point. Yes, you're absolutely right. We're gonna get to that. But okay. You increase the percentage because this is already a very selected group. These people have already expressed an interest in investing, and in FIRE. So let me give you an example. We talked about Amazon in the early days, right? Bezos could have said, and this is before I had the XYZ hypothesis, so obviously none of this happened, right? But he could have said 1% of all people in the US will buy a book through Amazon.com, right? So that's, most people don't buy a lot of books, right? So, but if he could have said, well, maybe 10% of people who voracious readers, right? People who read a lot, because then it becomes convenient, or they want to read reviews, etc., will buy a book from Amazon.com. So 10% of people who actually go to bookstores regularly. So when you already have a pre-selected group, as you have here, right? These are not random people. These are clearly people that are interested. You need to increase that numbers, because your odds of success with this group are much greater. Would you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Right. So here, let's. So I'm going to push you a little bit, because you want to make this. You don't want to fool yourself. You don't want to pass these prototyping tests too easily. Okay. So because this group is so well selected, I would like to ask you to have at least 2%.
That's exactly what I've written.
Oh, okay, good, perfect, right? So it's a more select group, so it's 2%. Good, we're in sync. You're a smart guy. All right. Now, because it's a prototype, you cannot charge money. And then, by the way, we will change this number again. So pay attention to how the process goes, right? So when you actually do this, when I do this live, or if there are some co-founders and people, it's like you adjust this number and then you need to adjust this number, et cetera, right? Now, for your prototype, are you actually expecting these people to pay for this? No. Right? So you just want to get them in at the beginning to come to the website. And since it's a small group, and and you're a developer, you can probably write the website that handles 2% of, let's round it up to 2,000 members, right?
Yep.
So 2% of 2,000 is how much? 40 people, right? Yep. You think you can do a website that manages 40 people?
In 4 days maximum.
4 days?
Yeah, I can do it.
All right. Yeah. Then the other formula, if you've been programming long enough, it's the last 10% that takes 90% of the time. Yeah. So we'll sign up on IJ for free. Okay. Because this is how you're starting, right? You're selling a service. You just want to see if people use it. Because here's the thing. If they don't use it for free, there's no way in hell they're going to use it and pay money to use it. Make sense? Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. So now that we have this number here, are you comfortable? And it's free. Are you comfortable increasing that number a little bit?
I am, but I'd stick to 2.
Okay. All right. This is I'm not going to push you. So because 2% is already 20 times more than what you hope to get from those other group. Okay. So we'll say how, and now comes this is where it becomes a little difficult to execute. So for example, there are people, and this happens all the time, an entrepreneur, they come up with an idea, I don't know, for for a new type of pen, right? And a fancy fountain pen. And then they know, oh, look, there is a group on Reddit for fountain pen enthusiasts, which I'm sure there probably is, right, with 10,000 people. So they go there and said, hey, I'm launching my amazing fountain pen, and the moderator just kills them dead. Right? Said, no, you're not allowed to promote self-promotion.
Yeah.
Are you able to self-promote on this group?
Yeah, that's a good point. I was thinking about that. And I actually had some nice conversations with one of the instructor of that course, and he helped me with some issues that I had. And I was thinking to ask him first, hey, can I do this in this group? Do you allow me to promote my product that will benefit all the beginners? So yeah, I want to ask for permissions, but I think the answer will be yes. I'm pretty sure there will be no problem.
Okay,
but
so good. Yes. So again, I'll tell you my personal experience. By the way, everything I teach, everything I explain, it's based on real data, real personal experience. Both anecdotes and data, and it's stuff that it makes logical sense and you can test for yourself. So the way I did it when I had my audio device, I was a member of this group, and I did exactly what you said. I've been there active for a couple of years. The guy who ran the group knew him. So I said, listen, his name is Ivan. So Ivan, I have this idea. I would like, we talked about this a lot. You also would like it. Can I try to sell it to the group members? And he said, okay, let's make a deal. You buy, because he had sponsors for the group, right? Because he had this standalone website and other people that sold audio equipment. So I said, okay, I'll tell you what, if you become a sponsor, you can advertise. So, and you know, I paid $500 in that case for a sponsorship. I don't think this is your case. And then I was able to advertise freely. I had the permission, you know, and by the way, the story is, I wanted to see if I could sell 10 of these devices, you know, and I did, right? And so I got my data. So here's my suggestion to you. First of all, ask, you know, maybe they're even interested in partnering. You know, if they run this group, it makes a lot of sense. And then, you know, also offer their money. Maybe they can do the announcement, right? You just need to show them that you have a legitimate, you know, website and that you are a serious guy. Have you met them face to face or Zoom or in person?
Just Zoom calls.
Okay, Zoom call, right? Yeah. And you know, say, look, this supports, you know, the TrueFire mission, right? I'm a developer. So by the way, this is great. So you can say, oh wow, you know, this is interesting. Maybe we can integrate this in our program. So I would say that's what you would get for the for testing your XYZ hypothesis. And then what I would do after you get that 2%, you have made the first customer contact. And then I suggest you actually do run this website, and based on, you know, how often people come in, do they use it? What feature do they ask for? I love this when they complain, right? So a customer complains and said, I mean, a user complains that, you know, Bogdan, this, you know, I like the website, but unless you can do this, it's useless for me. Perfect, right? Because people who don't give a damn, they don't complain. So a complaint means that somebody wants your service, they just wants it better. So you have the right but you need to tweak it a little bit. And this was what I would do. So I would plan to have so you can move, if you can get these people to sign up for free, you can move to kind of like an MVP stage. Because what you've shown me in the video is that's a mock-up, or is it somewhat functional?
It's just a mock-up. I have 30% of that functional already written, because I'm actually planning to use this tool for myself, because that's where the idea came from. I want to use it for myself. I find it very useful actually, and I'll build it for myself, and then why not share it with others?
Okay, so now do you really think you can have the MVP just in a week or so?
I'm pretty confident that I will do it, yeah.
Okay, so tell me what would be the features in that MVP?
So you can add, so basically how this will function in the beginning, it's you sign up, you create your own portfolio, you can add multiple investment years. So each portfolio will have multiple investment years. So let's say it's 2019, I add there the year 2019. I will be able to add the sum that I want to invest in that year. So let's say in 2019, I want to invest 10,000 euros. Okay, I add it there, and then I will be able to add investments. So I'll add, I don't know, 2 or 3 investments, and based on the sum that I've invested into the stocks or whatever I invest in, there will be some pie charts generated with the percentage of the investment allocated to that specific investment. And you could also add personal notes in there. So for example, I don't know, the stock market crashed and I've invested over my budget, but there's a good reason why I did it, and I can add there like an extra note. And when I look back, I see that, hey, I added more money here in this period because of that. I don't know what other features.
So you have the journaling, and makes sense. Yeah, so you try to come up with a set of features that makes it compelling, and because you're connected in this case to the Fire community, maybe you can do some projections, right? You know, if you keep at this rate, you will have such a thing. And it's very good to cross-link with the, you know, with the Fire group, so you kind of help each other, right? So right now you could say, look, TrueFire, you're helping me by promoting this. but then, you know, I can either pay you, you know, a small amount for it, or, you know, once I launch it, I will have linked to TrueFire, so you can kind of have the discussion, right? So this is how these things grow. So now there is another step that you can do before you build the MVP. Is you on the website, you kind of have the landing page. Maybe you can have, you know, the version of the video that you showed me, and the initial thing is that you can collect, you know, emails saying we're planning. So let's assume this. So I'm saving this. I'm actually gonna copy and paste it. So XYZ hypothesis 1, the little XYZ hypothesis, and then we're gonna do XYZ hypothesis 2. So in this one, you don't need to build any of the functionality yet, but maybe you ask them, you show them what the website could do, you ask for an email address, and if maybe you ask them what kind of features would you like to have, right? So skin in the game, which I know you understand, could either be people pay you, or they give you some information like their email, or they even give you kind of requests, right? So if you get somebody to give you their email and you're allowed to notify them and tell them what they like to see on the website, it's not as much skin in the game as $5 per month, but you know, it's a strong indication of interest. So I would start with this. Okay, I'm gonna be kind of ambitious here, right? So let's move this to, I want to get the right color, 5%. We'll visit the Investor Journal website, and give their email after seeing a TrueFire post about IJ. Okay, it's not perfect, but you know.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Okay, so this one, you know, this is the beginning of the funnel, right? So the first funnel is how many people get to see it. You know, even though it's, let's round it up to 2,000 members, they're not there all the time. You know, so I don't know exactly what those numbers are. So you may need to run this for 1 week. So you put the post in 1 week, maybe you send a couple of refresher and see how many people come to the website where you explain what it does. And by the way, you did the video you sent me, you know, was done very well, right? So it looks good, right? It's not, I've seen much worse, and I haven't seen many better at this stage of the idea. So there you go. I mean, imagine out of this 2,000 people or so, you get 5%. So let's say 100, or even if it's less than that, you know, you get a few dozen people that give you their email address. Then you already have kind of a machine. You find a group of people that are interested, and you can start experimenting with them, right? And don't be too in a rush to get money. One, because you already have a job, right? So you're doing this on the side. At the beginning, you know, just like Amazon lost money for decades, right, before they turned a profit, but they were continually growing. You don't want to be in that situation. Not many companies can afford to do that. But let's say that you get to the point that a year from now, if TrueFire Facebook group member is like 2,000, right? Let's say if you get to a quarter of that, say a year from now, you have about 500 people that are there active and giving you feedback. And every week you spend, you know, 5-10 hours adding features, adding that. So you have a vibrant community of 500 people. You can start to get data like daily active users, you know, how often do they come to the website? Do they come once a quarter, once a year, once a month, once a week? You start to have interaction with the market, so you can get a better understanding and refine it. So this is a dream scenario. Now, as I always tell them, please be prepared that your first iteration, your first version, you may not get this 5%, right? Maybe don't be surprised if you get less than 1%. And then at that time, you have to realize, okay, my initial hypothesis was too ambitious. Can I start with this smaller group? And whether you go ahead or not with the idea depends on a number of factors, but these are the most important one. First, how much are you risking, financially and in time and things? You enjoy doing this, right?
Yep.
Okay. You have a steady job, so you can pay the rent and put food on the table, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you're learning. You eventually want to do this. So you could say, Alberto, at the beginning, even if in the first year, there's just 50 people, I'm okay with that because I'm just learning, and I'm perfecting. Then you could say, okay, if that number is not 5% and it's 0.5%, I am happy with that because I enjoy this. I'm learning myself and I'm just building my muscles in this area. But you have to make the decision. Now, the worst case scenario, and what I really don't want people to do is to say, okay, I got these people signed up, so I'm going to quit my job, get a mortgage on the house, right? Borrow money from my parents and then launch this. So you don't want to do this. But if you're doing this very gradually, it's the smartest way to run. It's a way, remember, all this, Google so huge, Facebook so huge, Amazon so huge, right? All these companies, remember, they all started in a garage and they all started as side projects. They were students while you're older, so you're an employee, but it's the same thing. And when do they press the accelerator and make the big investment, and grow and get funding? Once they have the data, once they have the evidence that it works. So I think you're very reasonable. You're obviously very smart, and I think you have a good path for going through the next step. So I think that kind of ends what I can tell you. If you have any last questions or comments.
Okay. Yeah, so first of all, thank you. And just as a quick recap and as my next steps, I would just like to double check with you. So I was thinking to build like a small landing page with some basic information about what I want to do. And I attach on that landing page the video that I just showed you. Of course, I'll make it better. And a way to collect emails so that people can sign up for a small newsletter.
Perfect.
And also there will be like a small information box there. If they agree to allocate like 30 minutes in a call with me to present them the idea like in more details, that would give me more skin in the game from them than an email. They would invest actually some time. I'll try to do that as well. What do you think?
No, I think that's good. Maybe that's how you find partners, right? When I did my thing with the audio project, I found other people interested, and so they also help. Once you launch it into the world, you get a lot of interesting things. And I like the idea of the newsletter.
Yeah.
Right. So because they're giving you something of value, their email, they allow you to contact them and give them something in return.
Yeah.
And so as a final thing, let me write here kind of the website where you could see how I actually did this. All right.
Can I have access to this presentation after this?
Yeah, I will post it. I will send you a
okay, perfect. Thank you.
A copy, right? So this is a website where I've done a lot of the things decibels within. Oh, come on, let me edit this. Decibels. Delicious. Okay, and in fact, let's go there. All right. So you see, it's a very simple website. Again, I put it together in a day, and as you can see, I haven't done anything since 2014 because there was a demand for the product, but I decided to build it. Was a little bit too cumbersome. So this one is just a mock-up.
I can see the website if you're trying to show me the website.
Sorry?
I can't see the website if you want to show me the website. I still see the presentation.
Oh, Okay. Oh, you're right. Sorry. Yeah. uh,
I'm looking at it right now.
yeah. No. You're right. Okay. There you go. Do you see it now?
Yes, I see it now. Yes.
Right. So I don't website. I show what the product looks like, what it does. Right. Now, remember at this point, when I started this, you notice these are just drawings, right?
Yeah.
I drew what he drew what he would do. Then the reviews came later. Then, like you, I had videos, right? I explain what it does. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna play the videos, but this is very geeky audio file, audio file stuff about us. Kind of this thing, customer support and contact. And then after I launched it and I sold 10 of them, actually, these are real reviews, right? So I don't, prototyping is not misleading or lying, right? So I gave it to my initial users. This is what it looked like, the end products. And I told them, no, once you install it, please send me the photo of it in your system. All right. So all of this, I built this device on my kitchen table. Everything was done very, very quickly, but I started to have real interactions with users. So you can do a lot with the setup that you have. And the only reason I bring it up is because it's so similar to yours, right? You have a Facebook group where you have these people, you have something that you want to launch. And so with that, I'll stop. So was it useful?
Yes, it was very useful. Thank you very much.
Good. Yeah, it was fun for me too. You're easy to coach. Were you a good player?
Oh, that's what every coach told me, that I'm coachable.
Yeah, no, that's the best thing, because if you go to people, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just saying from the bottom of my heart, I've played the game, right? Like hopefully a good basketball coach probably played the game, right? I've played the game, and I can tell you where all the traps are, right? And I can tell you the tricks. And you may not like that you need to do some of these things, but I can guarantee you will do well. Yeah. So you're clearly very coachable, very smart. I like the idea. And if this doesn't work out, I'm very confident you'll come up with something great.
Oh,
so
I won't stop until I succeed with something. That's for sure.
That's right. That's the beauty of prototyping. I said you can prototyping cannot not succeed, because it is true that 80% of ideas fail. But if you fail quickly and you try the next idea or a version of the idea, eventually you will succeed. It's just like playing a gambling game, right? Because if you make small bets, right? So let's assume you're throwing the dice. This is the analogy I use, kind of in my more math classes. So you're throwing a dice. I said, look, and you have $1,000. If you hit 6, I give you 10,000. I give you 10 times what you've bet, right? Any other number, you lose your bet. So would you make your first bet $1,000? No.
No, yeah.
No, that's right. So if you make just one big bet, $1,000 or even $500 bet, the odds are that you end up empty-handed. And I said, by the way, you can keep playing this game forever, all right? Since your odds of winning 10 times are 1 in 6. So this is a game that if you make the right bets, and they're small, and you make a lot of bets, you will win, right? Does it make sense?
Yep.
You cannot not lose. I mean, if you get 100 throws, there's no chance that you're not way ahead of the game. So this is very similar. The odds are against you, but the payoff for when you win is very big. So the way that you play that, I mean, there is a formula called the Kelly criterion. I'm not going to bother you with that tells you the ideal size of the bet based on the odds, right? So right now you're investing 1 week to do your first iteration. It doesn't work. You have another idea, another iteration, you spend 1 week. And eventually, if you do that, you cannot not win. I mean, statistically, mathematically, if you go in all with a big bet, yes, then the odds are that you will lose. That's why I'm so confident. If you use the system, you cannot not win eventually.
Yeah, it makes sense. Definitely.
Excellent. So thank you. I really enjoyed this. As you can tell, I'm passionate. It's fun. It's fun to teach, and it's fun to go through the numbers with people that can tolerate numbers. And I think this was a very good session. Sorry?
I'll watch your math. I'll watch your math videos as well. So
Once you need to make better investment, you want more precise numbers. So I also want to thank you, because I think this was very informative. When other people see how we went from your rough idea and now we came up with the XYZ hypothesis, right? And we tweak the numbers based on the prototype and the market size, how we estimated the market size. I think a lot of people will benefit from it. So I really thank you, and all the entrepreneurs that watch this will thank you. So with that, I say good night to you. I know it's late evening in Romania, and I wish you luck, and do keep me posted, right? So when you launch the website, send me the link, and I like to keep up.
Via email, LinkedIn, doesn't matter, right?
That's right. Any way you can reach me. And then if you want me to share with other people, I'm happy to do that too.
Oh, thank you very much, Alberto. It was a pleasure, and yeah, talk to you soon.
Bye, Bogdan. Thanks a lot, and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Bye.